Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming to you guys with my monthly TV recap for the month of May. Alright, so now that we are in the month of June, it is time to look back on TV in the month of May, and a little bit here from June. So I'm kind of cheating a little bit here because this recap is a little bit late. And another reason for that is because I think I'm going to do what I did for March and April, and I'm going to combine the months of June and July, because right now, I will talk about it towards the end, kind of shows I'm looking forward to in June. But right now, it doesn't seem like there's a lot on the docket, for June. So, anyways, we're here for May, and I think this month, this is like a new record. I watched a lot of new shows this month, and obviously some other shows that were on previously, and yeah, really just looking forward to talking about it, and talking about some of these shows, and a couple of them I have done reviews for, or I will be doing reviews for, but a few of these, I don't think I will be, and so this will be the only chance I'll have to talk about them on the channel. So anyways, love to hear what you guys were watching in May, and also what you're looking forward to in June. Definitely looking for some suggestions, because there aren't a ton of new shows coming, or even returning shows for that matter. So yeah, love to hear from you guys. Love to hear what you guys were checking out in May, especially if you checked out some of the ones I did. Love to hear you guys' thoughts on them, and if you agree or disagree with me and any of that stuff, love to discuss that with you guys, as always. And if you enjoy this one, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel as well. Would really appreciate that. But yeah, so for this monthly recap, again, we're just going to kind of stick with this new format, just kind of this more informal, kind of just I talk about the show a little bit, briefly, move on to the next show, this type of thing. And then, of course, like I said, at the end, we'll talk about what I'm looking forward to in June and some of the shows that are on my radar for that one. So, anyways, yeah, so I did watch 5 different shows this month, 4 of them kind of current ones, and 3 of them ones that actually premiered in the month of May, which is a bit of a record for me so far this year in 2021. But anyways, so total episodes I watched this month was 31, which is down a little bit from last recap, but that one was 2 months combined. So, to be fair, it's 31 this month, and definitely some more that I could have had. I have been very busy recently, and that's another reason why the Kominsky Method review should be up at least before or after this one, definitely, within a day or so of this video going out, and so that one I'm a little late on. And Mare of Easttown, I also want to do my review for that one, which is also going to be a little late, unfortunately. So I have been just very busy, and that's why I haven't got around to some of these shows as quick as I maybe could have. So anyways, with all that being said, let's get into the first show that I watched this month. So the first one was Mr. Mayor on NBC. So this was season 1. Watched all 9 episodes of season 1. And this is something that I think I mentioned last recap, is that I had actually watched a few episodes of it already, but I was kind of saving it for this month's recap. And so that's what I've done. So Mr. Mayor season 1 on NBC. So this one I mainly just watched because I knew that it would probably be in consideration for the Emmys, and I really wanted to take a look at some more shows that premiered this year in 2021, because I really haven't seen that many. After this month, a few more have been added, but I really haven't seen that many. And so this one on NBC, one that I wasn't, particularly looking forward to. I'm not a huge fan of the kind of network model anymore. A lot of better options, especially HBO, Netflix, Amazon. There's just so many options out there right now that I think are much better. And especially comedy. Network comedies are really not my thing. So having said all that, I still think this show was kind of enjoyable at times. I think a lot of it, I didn't really enjoy the parts that it was making comments on modern day. We do get mention of, what's going on currently in some episodes, but not others. And obviously this was affected, and the production was a little bit different. I think a couple episodes, they were, months later that they were actually filmed for the show. So, of course, this one did have some complications with that, and I think you can see that a little bit in the writing. But I have to say, a couple episodes here from Tina Fey, Robert Carlock and Tina Fey, the showrunners. A couple episodes that Tina Fey wrote for this season specifically, I really actually kind of enjoyed. There were a couple episodes here that I thought were actually really well written. So Obviously, Ted Danson is great, and I think he'll definitely be in the Emmy conversation. He was just great in this, and I think the writing for his character was easily the best out of any of them. And then Bobby Moynihan really stood out to me as well. Of course, the former SNL star, and I really liked him on SNL. Some of my, and I don't really watch SNL that much, but some of my favorite skits that they've done were, ones that he was really starring in and ones that he was really big in. So he is so great in this. His physical comedy is simply unmatched by any other cast member here. It's really, really great. And Holly Hunter, I thought, is also pretty good. The writing for her, though, wasn't as great as some of the others, but I thought she was okay. It was also great to see Kyla Kennedy from The Walking Dead. Crazy stuff to think that she played Mika, right, in The Walking Dead years ago as this young girl, and now she's in this, and I think she's 19 now or 20, and she's in this show. It's mind-blowing. It's like insane to think that, but it is really great to see her in this, and I think she's also really great. So anyway, some positives about this one. But overall, yes, it is very beholden to that kind of network model. Some of the stuff here is just a little kind of cringeworthy. A couple of the episodes are really not great. I will say that. But there are a few kind of charming episodes here. There is a little bit kind of getting that needle out of the haystack of all the kind of okay, kind of bad stuff, and there are some really great kind of diamonds in the rough, if you will. But a bunch of these idioms I've come up with, but yeah, there are definitely a couple of good episodes here, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Really, I did, and so I definitely wanted to kind of share my thoughts briefly on that. I don't think I'll be doing any reviews or anything because I'm very late to this one. I came out in January. But with all that being said, yeah, so Mr. Mayor Season 1, and I'm looking forward to Season 2. I think I'll watch it. I think I'll check it out. There's just a lot of potential with this one where I think they really could find a really good footing because some of these cast members, like I said, are really top-notch, and I think if the writing comes along, I think they actually could find their groove here. So I will be looking forward to a Season 2, and it's been renewed. So really great stuff there for Mr. Mayor on NBC. All right, so next up then is the Kominsky Method Season 3, which this was a 6-episode season, and I watched the whole 6 episodes. And this one I will have a review on the channel, so I don't want to go too much in depth with this one, but obviously the elephant in the room for this is Alan Arkin is gone, right? So the whole dynamic of, Michael Douglas, Sandy Kominsky, and Alan Arkin and Norman Newlander, the best friends, that kind of dynamic duo, is gone this season. It is different. I think they do a pretty good job, though, with what they had. With Alan Arkin being gone, and actually a couple other cast members being gone, though I think that was already kind of planned. But anyways, with a couple of cast members gone here, I think they really do kind of craft an intriguing story. Definitely a little bit more heartfelt, a little bit more emotional, I think, this season than others. Where others, it was kind of that comedic angle was still really prevalent. I think in this one, in some parts of it, it really is more just that heartfelt, kind of heartbreaking stuff, where, they really do great with that drama in previous seasons, but I think they really kind of focus on it more here. And obviously, just starting at the very beginning, not spoiling anything because it's in the trailer and all that, but starting at the very beginning with Alan Arkin's character Norman in his death, right? So right from the very beginning, we're starting off with kind of a sad moment, and the ending is happy, I would say, but it still is kind of a little bit more of a heartfelt, approach to it as well. So, anyways, it was also just great to get a concrete ending to this one. I think if you ended the show with Season 2, would have left a little bit of a loose ending there. But I also do subscribe to some people who say, well, why was this season even made if they had known that Alan Arkin wasn't going to do it, right? So they knew way before they began production on this season that Alan Arkin was not going to do this season. And so I think some people are fair to ask, and that, well, why was the season even made if Alan Arkin wasn't going to be in it? And that is certainly, I think, a fair question. But again, I think they do the best with what they had, here. And I think Chuck Lorre crafts, at least a somewhat compelling season here, and makes it, at least worthwhile. And I think if you go in with your expectations a little bit lower, kind of like I did, right, with knowing Alan Arkin's not going to be there, knowing this season's going to be a little bit of a step down, I think you'll be able to enjoy it a little bit more. And some of this stuff here that I think wouldn't have been able to been done if Alan Arkin was still there, I think it's interesting to see at least some of that played out in this season. So anyways, again, I do my review on that one. So you could, take a look at all those thoughts in that one. A little bit more in depth there. And Paul Reiser, want to mention him. He's really, really great in this season. Kathleen Turner, of course, coming on. Michael Douglas, I think, gives maybe his best performance of the entire series in this season. I think he should be up for Emmy conversation. Maybe him and Ted Danson will be battling out the two older guys. But yeah, that's what it is, in my opinion, there for Kominsky Method. And really just glad I checked it out, though. As, if you have been following monthly recaps, a couple months ago, I actually just saw season 1 and 2 for the first time. And then within a couple weeks, it was announced that season 3 was coming. So the timing of this was kind of funny, for me at least. And I'm really happy that I got to see season 3. All right, so the next show that I checked out was Mare of Easttown. So this was the HBO miniseries with Kate Winslet. So 7 episodes. Watched all those 7 episodes. This one was big because I really do think this was kind of the first show back that really had people tuning in every week and really talking about it every week. This is the first show in a while, right? And probably almost a year. Pretty much, since no, I shouldn't say that, right? I would say probably in the last 6 months, because basically what happened was the year, right? The first 6 months of 2021 are actually kind of uglier, if you will, than the second half of 2020, because a lot of those shows already finished production, right? And so they were able to get out still. It's actually the first half of 2021. And the very end of 2020 that was hurt mainly, right? And so you really see that now, and of course, hopefully the second half of 2021 will be a little bit better. But Mare of Easttown is really, I think, the first one, at least since this time, at least in the last 6 months, that's really gotten people talking every week, and I think deservedly so. I think I do agree, though, with some people saying it's a little bit overrated because, yeah, it's like the only thing on right now, and yes, it is the first show in months. And so people are going to overreact to it. I do agree. I don't think this is a masterpiece. I don't think, this is, groundbreaking kind of a show. But I found myself really, really intrigued in this miniseries. And again, I am going to have a review on it, so don't go too far in depth to my thoughts for this one. But I was really intrigued. This had kind of the twists and turns and even, if you will, I don't mean this as a negative, but the melodrama at times to really keep you captivated into the story. It really reminded me of like a binge-worthy Netflix show, like a really good binge-worthy Netflix show. And I really haven't had that experience for a while. Because I just am not a huge fan of binge watching shows in general. But I really just haven't had that experience. And this was just such a great experience. This was a show, I was like excited for the next episode to see what was happening here. And I was a little bit late to it, but I think I did watch episodes 6 and 7 live. So it was like every week I was looking forward to this. And, that's not something I can say for a lot of, for other shows recently. So really great in that way. Obviously, Kate Winslet is so great in this. She has an Emmy tied up, in my opinion. I don't see her and Bryan Cranston, I think, are like, there's really no competition there. But we'll have to see what happens. But Kate Winslet, great. Jean Smart, also really great. And I'm going to talk about her in this next show as well. She's really great. And also, Julianne Nicholson, I think, is really great. I think she's getting overlooked by a lot of people, but she's really great as Mare's friend, Laura, right? Really great. And so, yeah, this story, I mean, man, it took some really dark turns. It really went there. It really went there. It really captured this small town vibe so well. I really haven't seen that captured that well in this kind of genre, maybe outside of a True Detective, really. Like True Detective season 1, and I'm not comparing them, just straight up, but I'm just saying that kind of concept of that small town and capturing that environment, I really haven't seen done that well since True Detective. So Really fantastic job there. And it is really great to see the creator, Brad Inglesby, who wrote the entire series, by the way, which I thought was really impressive and really great, because I think having other writers here may have really muddled some of the story up. But really great to see him get an overall deal with HBO after this one. And I just really like his writing, and he's willing to go to these really deep, dark places and really put these characters through these events and these situations, and that you're not going to see on many other TV shows. And he really does a good job in exploring those themes. So really great. But yes, overall, there is some melodrama. There's a little bit of cliches here and there in the story. So it's not perfect. It's not a masterpiece. And that way, I don't think, at least some people are calling it that. But yeah, really great experience. And I'm just really happy that it exists and that it happened. And again, just that experience of being excited for the show and really invested in that story and the twists and the turns and all this stuff was just something I haven't experienced for a while, and I think a lot of people haven't experienced in a while. So really great stuff there for HBO with Mare of Easttown. And one last thing I will say is that, and I'm going to talk about this in my review, is the comparison between this and Sharp Objects. And this is something that, going into it, in order for this show to be like on the level of kind of the masterpiece or just like this objective, like really great product, it had to do something a little bit different than Sharp Objects, or at least kind of match that level, because Sharp Objects, to me, like, this story is very similar, right? Like, very, very similar. Not exactly in terms of the plot, but you have Kate Winslet, Amy Adams. You have Jean Smart, Patricia Clarkson. And you have this kind of detective in her small town and this gruesome crime. And then it ends up being, the people responsible end up being actually very close to her and her family, and then she has to look into her family and kind of cross this line, if you will, and they're these main characters dealing with their own demons and stuff. So like, it's a very similar story, and I just think that this show failed to do that. It did not create anything particularly unique about it, and it really didn't have a really like something to drive it and really set it apart from other shows. But with that being said, in what it was trying to do, I think it did a fantastic job. But yes, I think Sharp Objects is obviously on a different level than this one. All right. So my next show that I watched is Hacks, and this is an HBO Max original. This is my first HBO Max show that I've watched, and it was an interesting experience. I don't know. I'm not sure that I don't quite understand why it's not just HBO and why it's like completely branded differently as an HBO Max, and like even the whole like kind of production seems very different than an HBO show. So anyways, but yeah, Hacks season 1. I've only watched the first 2 episodes of this, so there's 10 episodes in the first season. I will watch the rest of it in the next month, and hopefully I'll kind of report back for next month's recap. But I actually thought these first 2 episodes were good. Nothing here that is really impressive to me. Again, though, this isn't really something I typically check out. Really not up my alley, if you will, in terms of the kind of Hollywood, the writing, kind of that kind of angle of things. I'm not too into, and I also feel like I'm not really the target audience for this show. I don't know, but I will say it's pretty good. I really like Jean Smart. She's fantastic, obviously. And what's what's the actress who plays Ava in the show? I'm forgetting her name right now, but this is only like her 3rd thing that she's been in, or her kind of 3rd show or movie that she's been in, and she is excellent. I really like her in this, and I think the dynamic between her and Jean Smart is only getting better in these first 2 episodes. And so I'm really looking forward to where they take this one. Again, it's not really a show I think that I usually enjoy, but for what it is, I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's just pretty good. And I do think there is some potential here, though, to go going forward. and things that they could explore. And I'm really hoping that they kind of do go there, and it kind of picks up a little bit. But in terms of the comedy, I don't find myself, laughing hysterically or anything like that so far. There are a couple kind of beats that I've found pretty funny. But in terms of that, I don't think the comedy is as strong. Again, that's probably just because I don't really, first of all, comedies I don't typically watch to begin with, and comedies kind of exploring this genre, I'm not, a huge fan of. But anyways, with all that being said, I did want to check this one out because I heard, Jean Smart in this one, and she's probably going to be in that Emmy-winning conversation, right, for lead actress in a comedy. And obviously I saw her in Mare of Easttown, really liked her, and so now I thought I would check out Hacks, see what it's like, see a lot of people talking about it. And so yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised a little bit so far for the first 2 episodes, but we'll have to see how the rest of the season finishes out for this one. And this one I don't think I'll be doing a review on the channel. Just a little bit late to this one as well. But yeah, so there you go. Those are my thoughts on Hacks so far. A lot of potential there. Hoping to see some good stuff going forward. All right, so to end things off then is Mad Men. So I am doing, of course, I'm, years late, talking about late, years late to this one. Of course, this one is not a current show, but I am 7 episodes into season 1, and I've been just kind of slowly going through these episodes, with watching a lot of these current shows lately, I haven't had a lot of time to actually go to Mad Men and check out these episodes. So I think season 1, there are some episodes so far that have really intrigued me and really, I've really, really gotten into, really been invested into. But a few other ones have been the opposite for me. So I think it's been kind of a rocky start to this season of Mad Men, and I've heard, the peak is kind of in season 3, right? It kind of gets better. Of course, a lot of the best shows even, the first season is usually not at that kind of top tier, especially like, Sopranos, Breaking Bad, both of them, right? I think it's fair to say that season 1 isn't exactly the best, right? The best of that product, but I do think there are some positives so far, and, I'm definitely invested. I'm in it for the long haul. I am, planning to watch through the whole show, at least at some point here, hopefully, and get through this one. And this kind of comes after I've watched Sopranos all the way through. So now I'm going to Mad Men, and then hopefully, as we go here, maybe The Wire next, and check out some of these kind of big shows that are considered, at the top of kind of TV history. Though that's kind of, the mission I'm on. And so Mad Men's just part of that. So really great. I do really like Jon Hamm, though. He is absolutely excellent in this. Obviously a fan of him from many movies. And to see him in this show now, finally, after all this talk I've heard about him, is really great. Really great experience. So really looking forward to see what Mad Men has to offer, and hopefully I'll check out some more episodes, and again, report back next month for that one. So anyways, those are all the episodes I watched this month. Now, for June, just quick, looking forward to in June. So I do want to watch The Walking Dead Season 10C. I keep saying it. I think I've the 2 recaps now. I've been like, okay, I'm going to watch it. I really do want to check this one out. And I especially want to check out Here's Negan, that episode. Really looking forward to that. And so I do really want to watch that. And now with less shows coming up in the next month, maybe I will get around to that and just kind of binge watch maybe those 6 episodes. Get to Here's Negan, and then share my thoughts hopefully next week on that one. But just overall, I'm not that interested in this kind of extended episodes of The Walking Dead, and I've heard some very bad things about some of them, but I have heard great things about Here's Negan, and that's why I'm really looking forward to it nonetheless. So I also then, of course, will finish Hacks Season 1. So that, 8 episodes left of that that I'll be watching for sure. And then, of course, like I said, talk about that next month's recap. So, but that show is now finished. The finale, I believe, was last night or yesterday. So that is actually finished now. But me personally, since I'm a little late to it, I'll finish that one up. So that's not really a June release, if you will. But one that is coming up in June, I believe June 20th on AMC, is Kevin Can Fuck Himself, is what it's called. But of course they do that, the F star K, whatever. But this one looks interesting. This is Annie Murphy starring in this one, I believe. And this one looks like something that would only be on AMC. This is an interesting one. I'm not sure exactly who's behind this yet, but the trailer looks intriguing. Of course, the name gets your attention. And Annie Murphy is great to see as well, from Schitt's Creek, I believe, right? So anyways, with all that being said, it seems interesting. We'll check it out. At least check out the premiere. Maybe share my thoughts on the channel. We'll have to see. But yeah, that is one that I'm looking forward to, and hopefully, I'll get to check that out. In just about a week from now, right? Or at least 10 days from now. We'll get to that one on June 20th. So except for those small ones, really only that one being the June release. That's about all I have for June. So I am really looking for some suggestions, looking for some other new shows, some returning shows. Hopefully we'll see some of those soon. I do really excited that What We Do in the Shadows got a release date in September, along with American Crime Story the next season. So really looking forward to that. I really do think the second half of 2021 is going to be stellar. Hopefully we'll get, Succession, Righteous Gemstones, Barry, American Crime Story, the next season, What We Do in the Shadows, some of my favorite shows are all going to be in the second half of 2021. So hopefully it's going to be a packed schedule. The only one is Better Call Saul. That will be in 2022. That's already been confirmed. So anyways, with all that being said, hopefully just a few more months to get by before we get some of those big shows coming back and things get pretty busy. So anyways, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching this one, and really like to hear your guys' thoughts on these shows and also what you're looking forward to in June. Love to discuss, as always, with you guys. But once again, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this one, and we'll see you then in my next review.